So what's really going on here is that up until now you really haven't been able to raise money from non-accredited investors. Does everybody know what an accredited investor is? You got to have made $200,000 or more in income for the last 2 years and or have a net worth of $1 million or more, not counting your home or primary residence, okay? Which means that you really aren't smart enough to figure out whether something's a good investment unless you make at least 200 grand a year. Like, really? Okay. But that's what the rules have been from the SEC. There's about 6 million so-called accredited investors in the United States, okay? How many non-accredited? Well, that could be virtually anybody. There's like 227 million Americans who are age 20 and older in the U.S. alone. So you got possibly 227 million right there versus 6 million accredited investors. So there's huge potential here. And like anything else, we don't know how it's going to play out. But if you look at what's happening already on Kickstarter, which launched in April of 2009, so it's been around for 4 years, they've already raised about $550 million or more on that site. That's just one site. It's really not a new concept. I mean, since time immemorial, people have been funding stuff. I mean, who has ever given money to a charity? How about a fundraiser campaign for your school or your alma mater university, right? Anybody give money to a political campaign? Probably not as many because they don't like the product, but hey, you know, it happens. But it's just, okay, you get a bunch of people together and you donate money or however you want to do it. So the concept of crowdfunding is old, but it's the concept of crowdfunding investing that's relatively new. Although if you look at what's going on right now, well, for example, has anybody here pitched at like an angel group for money, like Hyde Park Angels? That's kind of like crowdfunding, right? You walk in and they operate as individuals, but they may fund you. Or what do VC firms do? They raise money from a crowd, build a fund, and they go out and they pick the investments. So in a sense, even in this space, conventional crowdfunding or investing has been going on. Now, right now, most of the money that's being raised is being raised under what's called Reg D. And that's an exemption you get from the SEC. You don't have to register with the SEC. If you register with the SEC, what you typically have to do to sell a security to raise the money, it could cost you a fortune. It could cost you like 100 grand or whatever. A startup can't do that. So the SEC has all these exemptions so you don't have to register with them. And the most popular one is called Reg D. And there's different rules under Reg D. But basically, Reg D allows you to raise an unlimited amount of money from an unlimited amount of accredited investors. Okay, so you can go after the 6 million investors that are here in the U.S. and outside the U.S., okay? And they are allowed to raise money from up to 35 non-accredited, just 35. Well, that's not going to do you much good. I mean, if you look at Kickstarter, you got thousands of people funding these deals. And if somebody uses Reg D, typically they're not going to go after the non-accredited investors anyway. They're going to go after the wealthy people, the accredited investors. So practically speaking, people are not raising money until recently from non-accredited investors. Now you can raise money on Kickstarter because Kickstarter is not, this is what we're really talking about today, is really equity crowdfunding from non-accredited investors. Okay? Kickstarter is just donations. There's no equity. It's not a business transaction. The person who gives you the money is not expecting to make a profit. They might expect to get, if you make a product, like Everpurse. Anybody familiar with Everpurse at 1871? They crowdfunded, their goal was 100 grand. They crowdfunded over $250,000. So they got their purse, which charges your smartphone, okay? So if you donate money, they send you the purse, and you pick the purse. It's kind of called pre-order crowdfunding. But you don't own part of the company. There's no equity, right? It's not really a business transaction. So you have donations. You can go into an angel group and raise money. You can go to a VC firm. All these are like equity crowdfunding, but they're not equity crowdfunding from non-accredited investors, where virtually anybody can give you money, okay? And that's the beauty of this.